Welcome, everybody. John Boyle, want to get us started?
What do you got, John?
I would love to get us started. Pete, you sounded after the game again on radio today like, I mean, obviously you're not happy about the loss, but there's a lot you liked about that game. Just what jumps out at you that makes you feel pretty good even coming off that result?
Well, heading out on the road again and playing a full, 60 minutes of football, tough right from the beginning, and being ready to go and playing all the way to the end. We were playing to win the game, the whole way, and we just didn't get it done. But I think that plus seeing the defense play such a solid football game against such a good offense and a good group of receivers and the QB and the play caller and the whole thing, to see us play against that style that we have a lot of respect for, and play so well, and we got better as the game went on. Those are really good characteristics, and unfortunately we didn't win a game, and we had so many ways to win the football game, and so many ways to score and opportunities that we just that got squandered. But there was just a lot of positives moving forward. I thought I wasn't thinking positive thoughts in my head. I just was pleased that we made it so hard on them because we played so tough.
Bob?
Not buying it.
Yeah, Pete. What was DK's explanation to you of the penalty, and then what was your view of the interception on the throw that happened to him as well?
Yeah, on the penalty, he was way downfield and he was still getting after the guy and didn't hear the whistle, and the official saw the play end and looked back and saw the hit come after that. He just figured it was way too late. We talked about it. We had the official was there explaining it. DK was right there. We really just talked it out, and and I said, maybe you could help us if you could realizing somebody's behind you, blow the whistle again to help, just knowing that could happen. And so that was basically what we really talked through it very clearly. The other play, the way I saw it, DK came running and the guy jumped on inside of him, and he felt like he took the route away, and he wasn't sure what he should do when the guy was that far inside him, and so it made him hesitate, and Gino threw it on rhythm, and we just had timing that was messed up.
Matty F. Brown?
You mentioned the defense in the nickel forefront. How has returning to using a shaded nose rather than a nose aligned on the inside shoulder of the guard impacted the run defense specifically?
Well, that's a good observation, Matty, as always, and it's just part of it. It's just part of all of the play that we do, and we're always we have subtle adjustments that we're moving, and we move out of those. We slant and jump from those looks too. So it's all part of it. Right now, what's working for us is we're playing really strictly disciplined football, and the guys are connected really well. The front guys and gap control stuff that has to take place, to be consistent in the running game is really connected well, and we've been able to hold up doing it, and we've had a very consistent run so far this season.
Just a quick follow-up on that is, when you stated in the off-season that you wanted to get more dynamic up front, is this kind of what you're envisioning?
Yep. Yeah, it is. And the use of our guys, in the roles that we're asking them to fill is working out well, and really happy with, we felt pretty good about Dre coming, and we're hoping that Jay Reed would be able to be a big factor, and he's exceeded our expectations. He's just done great stuff, not just in the running game, but in the pass rush as well. And then Mario has done a really good job. Mario's been really active. He's really an aggressive, physical effort guy that we love his style of play, and they've really been a good factor for us.
Masvita?
Staying with Jaren Reed, can you talk about how he's become a leader, what his leadership style has been or is, and then the influence he's had on that line?
Well, kind of in classic fashion, they have sensed his awareness. They've sensed his presence, and he's impressed the other players with his knowledge and background, work ethic, toughness, and they have just kind of moved in his direction to position him in a leadership role. He has the background, he has the makeup, he's got the toughness, he's got the messaging. He's really in a great spirit about being here, so he's a big positive part of our program. He remembers when he was here in the past, and he's grateful for being back. And he's just brought such an element. The players have just gravitated towards it, and so in that he's been empowered, and he's really just taken it, as far as he can so far. And I think it's just a really beautiful opportunity for a guy to, after the years he's been playing, to be received and accepted as much by his teammates. That's rewarding, and so I'm really fired up for him.
Greg?
So the difference in locker rooms between the opener, the loss, and then yesterday's loss in Cincinnati was going to be so obvious, and how the players reacted to it and how they thought of it. Where are you from the opener to now, as far as what you've learned about the team and how you've progressed since then?
Yeah, the opener was pretty shocking that we played so poorly in the second half. Everybody was disappointed and surprised, and we really couldn't make sense of it. But now the guys, when you stack some weeks together, with the real consistency in our effort and the involvement and everybody's commitment to it, and even when you get disappointed with a loss like this that happened, they're still seeing the future. They're still seeing where we're going and where we can go, and so the hope is still there to put together a terrific season, 1 week at a time. But you can feel that there's a confidence that has come from that, and so I think that's the uncertainty from the first. It was left behind in week 2, week 3, and week 4. We just built on it, and so here we are again. Tough situation, good team, respected squad, and the game was so obvious. It was so obvious. We just needed to score, catch one more ball and run one more ball in, and we win the football game. So everybody's pretty clear about that.
And with Metcalf, I mean, he has to realize that officials have a beat on him right now.
Yeah, we're on that. Yeah, he does.
How much have you talked about that, or renewed that talk even yesterday? Was that another?
Yeah, point? No. We're well aware of that, and when the word unnecessary in terms of a penalty, unnecessary roughness, sometimes it looks like that, and that's what he has to, we're still adjusting to make sure that, when the opportunity arises, he might have to take a little something off it, because he has been seen, and they've definitely called some stuff on him, and there's things that he could, just as in when you have an opportunity to hit a guy high and you have to go low and you have to get your shoulder in there, get your head out, right at the moment, you got to make those decisions that work in your favor to stay out of trouble with the officials, and he has to do the same thing. And so he's playing really hard. He's giving great effort. He's playing tough. He cares. He's working, all that. He just has to make sure that, that he keeps it in. He can't quite go to the level that's going to draw that kind of attraction, because it's hurting us, and he knows it.
Jen?
When you look at special teams numbers, your top 3 in kickoff return yards around the league, how much of that is DJ Dallas settling into that role, because he had some nice returns yesterday, versus what's happening schematically in front of him?
Well, I think it's truly a combination. The guys have to all work together. DJ couldn't do anything if those guys weren't blocking for him. He'd be the first to tell you that. But what has happened, what's taken place, the guys are really feeling his intensity and his style. I mean, he is coming right at you, and if you can get a hand on a guy, he's going to blast right on through it, and they love to block for him because of the intensity that he brings. He's just a perfect teammate, for the fellas. He loves practicing. He loves working. He's got a great attitude. He's always positive, and he's tough as hell, and they know it. And so they're just responding. So, but without scheme, they run right through you, and they knock the hell out of the guy back there. So, that it's fitting together quite well.
Tim?
Pete, when you watched the film, what did you make of your offensive line yesterday, and maybe where did you see some breakdowns happen?
Yeah, Cincinnati was able to take advantage of us a little bit at times. You know, they threw some really good pressures at us, like they do. This is no surprise. They have a real variety of things, but it made everybody have to be right on point. And there was times where edges got knocked down a little bit, and when we got penetration and you know, we didn't pass off the games as clean as we needed to. Like just the classic one was the last play of the game. You know, we got a little tackle end stunt and penetration got in the B gap and. You know, Matty, you like this kind of stuff. The penetration happened in the B gap, and the end came up underneath, and we just couldn't, you know, stymie the effort, and it got penetration on Gino before he can get the ball cleanly away. So, but there were some times. Now there was a lot of times when we did block well, and we took advantage of it. Gino threw for a ton of yards and all that, and was making a lot of, you know, productive decisions because he had time to do it. But all in all, they had enough heat when they needed it, particularly down in the red zone. They knew they needed to take their chances, and they mixed it well. And give them credit. And you know, they came out keeping us out of the end zone.
And how did Phil come out of that? And you said this morning that Jake might have tweaked his ankle. How is he doing?
Yeah, Jake got wrapped up. If you noticed it, kind of early in the game. He was able to finish the game. He's hobbling a little bit today. We'll see how he does. Phil made it through the game. You know, Phil just made it through practice all week long. He had some chances where, you know, he would like to have dug in a little bit deeper and been able to hold his ground a little bit more, so that he really couldn't load up. So you know, it hurt him a couple times on some sets. So you know, there was a little price to pay for those guys playing under those circumstances, and unfortunately, it was more than we could handle.
John?
Yeah, Pete, you guys obviously got Trey Brown back in that game. You had Jamal back. That's kind of the first time you've had that group together as a secondary with all those guys. What did you think, just the way that looked as a group?
And I thought I was really impressed. You know, coming off the week before when you know, they had looked so good. And Joe had done, you know, he looked like he was fully back and had a big productive day, and they set all the numbers and the records with Jamar Chase. It had a great game and looked like a fantastic football player, and our guys' attention was on it, man. They were up for the challenge. They went about it with a really good mentality across the board. Everybody played well. Everybody contributed. We matched up fine. You know, we were able to hold those guys down, to hold them under a couple hundred yards passing. That's pretty you know, unusual that you could do that. And we tackled them well. We held them, you know, we held on to the deep ball stuff that they threw at us, and we did a nice job in a lot of areas. So I thought everybody contributed. I think they were well aware of the challenge that they're up against, and they met it with a good performance.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, coming back to the offensive line a little bit, but what did you think of the ground game performance yesterday? And it seemed like you guys struggled at times to get things going, particularly down in the red zone with the rushing attack, and how that kind of all fit together with what you were doing yesterday.
We weren't as consistent as we wanted to be, and we thought we would run the ball better. We expected to run the ball better than we did. I think we had 8 carries down in the red zone or close by, and, you know, for like 20-something yards, you know, whatever it was. It wasn't enough. We had a couple that we got through. The touchdown run was a nice one. A couple carries before the touchdown run was about a 7 or 8 yard play. But all in all, the consistency wasn't there. And so that factor that we wanted in our favor in this game, we weren't able to take advantage of. And you know, they've been giving up quite a bit of yardage, and they played us well.
Bob?
Yeah, you sort of alluded to Gino's game when we were talking about the offensive line, but just in general, how would you grade, I guess, Gino's performance yesterday, especially some of those fourth down throws and things like that?
Yeah, we weren't able to finish. You know, we weren't able to get the throw we needed, the protection we needed to win a football game. He threw some great balls and put us in position. Got real aggressive on the one he threw to Jackson on the interception. You know, he thought he you know, he could put it up there and he would have a chance to win on that one. And he got rushed, you know, and had to make some decisions, and he had to get rid of the football. He all in all, it wasn't to his satisfaction at all. He knew he had a couple shots in there that we could have, you know, kept the thing going, kept the ball moving, and you know, when we have all those opportunities down there and we took our shots, you know, it was frustrating. And so hopefully we'll learn from it and we can get a little cleaner and execute a little bit better.
Matty?
It looks like your multiple tight end usage was down slightly on offense. Did that affect your pass protection?
No, I don't think so. I didn't think so at all.
Masvita?
Hey Pete, just on Jamal, just what did you see, and then how important was it for him to get through this game, and what can that do for him for the next game?
Yeah,
this
I
weekend?
think it meant a lot. I really do. And I made a point about it in the team meeting today. Just to kind of congratulate him because he's been waiting for to get back into action, and 2 weeks in a row he's playing, but this full game and comes out in good shape and all that. That's an accomplishment, and so we recognized it and really excited for him and for us, because he played well. We moved him around quite a bit, and he handled all of that well. So we're just kind of now we're getting going, and we'll start building on it.
Greg?
Adams is 85% snaps. Pete, was that more than you planned, or is that on pace for where he'd be right now?
No, I think that's plenty good. That was maybe a little bit more than he needed, but he made it through it and handled it well, and so we're fortunate. So he'll be ready to play a full game from this point forward. We'll still mix our stuff, but he's ready now.
And in the red zone issue with the run game in particular, how much could maybe get Charbonneau more chances there because of his style being different and decisive?
Yeah, I would love to see Zach get in there. I got no problem with him playing. Either one of the guys can play, but he does come a little more downhill. And it might have been a difference. I don't know that it would have. You certainly, if you can run the ball in the red zone, it makes it a whole lot easier. And not getting that done, it wasn't because we didn't try. We just didn't. We weren't getting it done. It would have made a factor. And Zach is in the rotations at all times. There's nothing that we're not saying. No, Zach isn't going in there in the red zone because Ken's got to score the touchdowns. We don't care about that at all. We just want the next guy up. So he'll have his turns.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, Maddie, nice to have you. See ya.